Welcome back to Creasonomics with your favorite host, Mr. Gray. I hope you're having a fine Saturday. I'd say I'm having an okay Saturday. I have not gotten a call yet that I have won some Travis Scott. So, outside of the fact of me not getting what I want, I'm doing okay. I'm here to let you guys know today I have bit the bullet. I had to get the Jordan 185s. Varsity Reds. There was something that I really wanted. I know I say I love Blazers a lot, but I've also said that I love Jordan 1s. Jordan 1s, Blazers, and Dunks. There are needs in my collection. Anyway, we're going to talk about the Jordan 185 Varsity Red today. We're going to, so actually before we jump into the physical shoe, just so you know, the Jordan 185 Varsity Red would be the most duplicate, as in the way they produced it. They produced it most accurately to the first Jordan 1 they made in 1985. Hence the name Jordan 185. So the cut is almost to exactly the same as when they originally made the shoe. They tried to make everything down to the hang tag, everything is pretty much as duplicate as it came out when it came out originally in 1985. And personally, I think they did a good job. Of course, the shoe, the colorway is not exactly the same. It's also been dubbed the reverse bread because some of the colors have been reversed, on the shoe. But either way, reversed or not reversed, I think it's a great shoe. So let's just start with the box. You have the traditional box, size 10.5. The Air Jordan 1 High 85. Colors, Varsity Red, Black Varsity Red. You have some special paper in there. See that? Just has number 23, the Jumpman logo, and the Air Jordan logo on it. Each shoe there's a lot of paper in here, and I don't know if it's because they're worried about the leathering, the coloring of the leather rubbing off or what. But they wrapped each shoe in this extremely large piece of paper. So I've seen that done before when they wanted to keep colors from bleeding onto another shoe. They did that with the what is it? Those waffles? I forgot. I'm not sure if I'm even naming the shoe correctly. Anyway. And as you all know, that they only made 23,000 of these. They were very hard to get. Like I said, just admitting, I had to bite the bullet and pay resale. I'm telling you what I paid, but I didn't get to pay the retail price. So get to these dust bags with the drawstrings. Say Nike Air. Let's see. I got 15,992 out of 23,000. You can see there. Let's see. Nice dust bags. The original hang tag that came out when the original shoe came out in 1985. From what I had read too, they didn't actually have a digital version of this photo, so they had to get the original photo and make it digital just so they can make this same hang tag as they had in 1985 as duplicated to exactly what it should look like as possible. Which now every time we have a photo, it's always digital. So if you don't have it, this is what's actually inside the hang tag. If you've never seen one. Of course, we're not going to read all that. It also came with a spare set of laces that are black. Also, before I describe the shoe, I would like to read to you guys how Nike Jordan Nike describes the shoe. So I'm just going to read this to you. The Air Jordan 1 first hit shelves in 1985 altering the footwear game forever. 35 years later, the silhouette is back on the scene, sporting classic hues and reworked color blocking, which basically means they changed the color. This heritage-inspired makeup begins with the base of black leather, complemented by overlays of Varsity Red. A crispy white midsole adds a clean touch to the time-honored style. Longtime sneaker lovers will be happy to know that this drop arrives with retro packaging, including a drawstring bag marking each of 23,000 pairs made, and an OG hang tag depicted MJ above the Chicago skyline. Alright, so, ooh, excuse me guys. Alright, so there's that. So, now we can jump in the shoe. So what I did, I don't have any Jordan 1 bread, but I do have a Jordan 1 Gym Red. I have a Jordan 1 Spider-Man Origin, and I have a Jordan 1 Homage to Home, which of course we know is half Chicago and half bread. So what the best I can do was compare the Jordan 1 bread or band to the Jordan 185, which we say is the reverse bread. And I was able to, and as people have already said, a lot of people have already reviewed this and beat me to the punch, but I don't care. I decided I was going to review it anyway. So I was able to notice the differences, and I don't know if there are going to be things you can actually see. So let's see. One of the things that I saw pointed out and that I noticed myself is, so on the midsole, let's see. Let's try it like this. Here we go. Let's not make this any harder than it has to be. Let's take this one and this one. Bam, here we go. So if you look at the midsole, I don't know if you can see that. Here we go. So, of course, there's these like little, I don't even know what to call those little lines that are on the midsole. So on the Jordan 185, those I guess those little dots or those little indentions, they're a little bit more pronounced on the Jordan 185. They're not as flat, and they actually stick out more, and they're a little bit wider. So there's one small, and it's a small difference. There's also small differences on the bottom. Let's see. Am I holding the right shoe? Yeah, I am holding the right shoe. And they're so small. Some of the patterns, and once again, I don't even know if you can even see all those. Some of the patterns, even on the sole, on the outsole, are a little bit different. I mean, and some, like in the rings here on the Jordan 185, it's just smooth. But if you go to the Homage to Home version, then you actually have all those little indentions in those actual circles in the outsole. So I mean, once again, it's very small differences. Not the largest differences in the world, but they're differences, things to know. I've tried these shoes on. I've also even worn both shoes at the same time. My goal was just to see the difference in how they feel. Personally, they feel exactly the same. You know, if I would have been wearing like a Dunks don't feel the same as Jordan 1s. They feel completely different. They're thicker, they're a little bit more cushier and soft. But these two, all of them, they felt exactly the same. Hence a few small things. So as I was rubbing and feeling on my other Jordan 1s, you know, I realized that, as was said, this Jordan 1 is definitely, it is more stiffer. It's the leather's different. It's not tumbled, as everybody I think already knew. But if it was made to be like it came out like in 1985, then this is how leather was in 1985. It's something that will take time to break in, and I'm planning on wearing it enough to see it break in. Some things I did notice. As you can see, look at that thing, it's powerful. It just bounces back open. You know, the other ones are just kind of soft. They're just soft. The other ones are a lot softer. But I've did some comparison views, and I've even looked, and there is some difference in shapes. And once again, as I said, I don't even know if you can see that on the camera, but the toe box on the Jordan 185 looks smaller actually than the toe box on the Homage to Home and the other shoes. When I matched all the shoes together, the toe boxes just seem to be bigger than the Jordan 185. Almost like this part came up further into the toe box. The tip came up further into the toe box, making this smaller on the Jordan 185, making the toe box smaller, which is something I noticed. But one of the other main things I've noticed, and I heard one person mention, is the Jordan 185, it's somewhat slimmer. But when I say slimmer, it's not like extremely noticeable. It's not very noticeable. But it's like a tad bit, almost like a quarter of an inch slimmer, like right here in the middle, right around the waist of the shoe. And it's hard to see, so there should be a photo up right now, actually, or a video showing. And let me see if I can do what I did before. So if I sit the shoes, if you look at the shoes right here, you can see right here where they're even, right? Hold on. Yeah, you can see where they're even right there, all right? That's even. But then if you go around that side, you can see there's a ledge. Look at that ledge right there. I can actually put my finger on the ledge, which shows that the Jordan 185, which is on the top, if you look here, no ledge. My finger's off the shoe. Off the shoe. Then when I come around here, all of a sudden, ledge. Which showing that the Jordan 185 is actually slimmer. I can't really tell you if it's slimmer on the inside or the outside, but that slimness also somewhat makes it look like since it kind of goes slim here, and I'm not making fun of the shoe because I do love this shoe. It almost makes it look, if McDonald's, you know, whatever, I forgot his name. If a clown were to retire and slim down their shoe, you know how clowns have that big toe, you know, the front of the shoe is real big, but if they were to retire and have a retirement shoe, the front of it would be like this, because it's just being that it's slimmed down just once again I say a smidgen, so small that unless you're doing like I was doing, studying it, you would never notice it. But it's so slim that you can tell that the front of the shoe has a little bit more of a rounded look compared to the regular shoes. These kind of just come in and just seem kind of have more of that slim look. These have a slightly, and it's so ever so hard to see, it's slightly more rounded, and I think I can see it right there a little bit. It just appears a little bit more rounded just because this shoe's a little bit slimmer at the waist, or what I'm going to call the waist. As far as differences, you know, as they said, it's reverse bred, so they reversed some of the colors on the shoe. I think I touched on most of the difference. I just really like how they gave it that nostalgic feel, as in the look of it and how they made it in the leather. I like the fact that they went back to making it just like it originally was. You know, this would have been in the original shoe. And to be honest, and let me just be honest too, even though there's a lot of things I noticed on my own, there's a lot of things I wouldn't have noticed. I reached out to, his name is Hoop Fresh on Instagram. That's Hoop Fresh, and the E in Fresh is a 3. He does some, what I've noticed, he does some sneaker customization. He does a pretty good job. I watched a video he did that somebody advised I should look at, and the way he explained it from a shoemaker's point of view, he really noticed the difference. I mean, he pulled out the insole, and under this insole, which you guys know I hate pulling out insoles. Okay, it's not glued in there. So he was explaining that, and I can't explain the way he explained it. He did a good job of it. That's why I gave his name. Hopefully his video's still up. But this looks different. This was, I guess, made to spec of how this would have been made in 1985. So we got that. But let's go now. If I pull the, this one might not be as easy to see. Does you hear that noise? It's called the noise. I'm not even. No, that sole's glued in, not coming out. Either way, the way he was explaining it is the shoes they make now, even under the insole, doesn't look like that. He had a way better explanation than I had. My explanation was very elementary. I apologize. Either way, my conclusion for you in this shoe is, For those who are strictly tumbled leather fans, which I am a tumbled leather fan. My whole tier system, my tier 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3 system is built off of tumbled leather quality, or the leather quality. Personally, I don't feel the Jordan 185 fits in that tier system, because to me this was made for nostalgic Jordan 1 purist sneaker connoisseurs. So which I fall in, because I watched Jordan play. I didn't go to a game. I've been to Knicks games, but I've never been to a Bulls game. But I mean, I watched him play on TV when he was still in the league, and I go back to the time where I like the fact that they made an original, and so I can respect those who came after the fact and they say, hey, I like that nice new Jordan that new Jordan 1 tumble leather. But this right here, if you're a purist and you came from that era where you were watching those games, you want it as close to the original as possible. And this right here is going to be as close to the original as possible. One last thing before I conclude the video. I know they were saying, well, at least I thought I read, that this is supposed to have a higher cut. I'm be completely honest, I've lined all these shoes up together and I could not for the life of me tell that it was a higher cut. And I'm gonna make this real quick because this video is being way longer than I wanted it to be. So let's see. I'm gonna line all these guys up. Try to get 4 of them up there without dropping one. You guys don't want to see me cry on camera. All right. So the Jordan 185 is all the way over here. I'm trying to hold the box as even as possible. There we go. I need a level. It's funny because here it actually looks higher, but when I had these, and I'm gonna put the picture up I took earlier, but when I sat these beside each other, it's really hard to see anyone that's any higher than the other. But you know what I did just now notice? On the back, on the heel, the leather does actually come up higher to the top of the shoe, as in like just the way they cut it. The cut here on this part of the heel, this part of the red leather actually goes down further, but this one actually pulls up higher. So I can see that's a higher cut, but not sure if that's actually what they meant when they said higher cut. Either way, my conclusion for the Jordan 185 is it's worth the resale. It's going down a bit. I do think it's going to take a year or more for people who like to sit on theirs for it to go up, because I have been asked in my I was asked in one of my videos if I think they're going to go up in price. They will eventually. You know, everything has that beginning dip. I think these are going down a little bit more because they don't have that tumble leather that most of the, and I hate to say newer Jordan fans, but people who were born in the 90s after, or I shouldn't say that. Yeah, people who were born in like the 90s and after, or you know, they prefer that. And I like tumble leather too, but I also like anything close to as original as possible. And this is their goal was to get as close to the original, and they did that with this. So I'm gonna say it's a go. Get this shoe. Get it before it starts to go back up again, because at that point you're gonna wish you had purchased it, and wear it, because you got to break it in for that leather to get that to get that nice little, I guess, get it loose and stuff, get the juices going through it. You don't want juices going through it, but anyway, you get my point. So in conclusion, if you're really into that nostalgic look of the original Jordan 1 that released in 1985, the Jordan 185 reverse bred, or Varsity Red as Nike Jordan calls it, is the way to go. So there's one last thing I almost forgot, so I just had to jump back in real quick. So the difference between the two logos there, you can see them both side by side. So of course, as appearance, one actually, the one on the band, or the homage to home, I'm just going to call it band for the sake of the video, the band side of the homage to home looks more like a new slick wet tattoo. But I guess it's more like an imprint, versus when you feel the original, well, not the original, but the one on the homage to home, which is on most Jordan 1s they make now, it's more flat, it's more I guess it's imprinted, or I don't even know the correct wording for it. But if you look from the side, you know, it's not bubbled out, and it has that little gloss to it. It's glossy. But the Jordan 185 Air Jordan logo, it's more of a matte. It's not shiny. There we go. It has more of that matte black look. It's not, like I said, it's not shiny at all, and it actually sticks up. It kind of, you can't really see that, but it more so bubbles out. I mean, it's neither here nor there. Not better or worse. It's just apparently how they made them originally. This one more kind of sticks out, and the other one more in the Jordan ones we're used to. Normally they kind of pressed in, and they have more of a glossy look now. Almost like I said, almost it actually looks to me, the ones they make now to me look like when you get a new tattoo, and it's kind of has that Vaseline. It's all, that's kind of what it looks like to me. It's not a bad look. I probably explained it horribly, but I like both. But once again, I'm gonna really enjoy breaking these in. This is gonna be fun. I'm considering this an experience, I guess, because to me, ones that come out now technically kind of broken in for you with that, you know, tumbled leather look. But anyway, this was supposed to be me just telling you that one detail I forgot. So, signing off again, Mr. Gray out.